mid-sized banks. And here's their margin, 3%. Okay, there's the spread. This is what they earn, this is what they pay. And here's their provision. Okay, 2% of their assets. Okay, for loan losses. And you can see how much smaller it is for the small banks. Okay. Their non-interest income is a pretty nice level, and again, most non-interest income is earned by the larger banks. Okay. Non-interest expense is a big piece of action here at the smaller banks. Okay, and that's because of salaries. And the smaller bank, these guys have economies of scale, okay? And that's why salaries and employee benefits are a smaller part of their assets. All right, and you can see net income was barely negligible, less than 1% at this point in time, 2009. Okay, so kind of an unusual time to look at an income statement for a bank. All right, just a couple of other issues, and we'll finish up here. So window dressing. What is window dressing? These are efforts, and window dressing is something that is done by almost all publicly traded companies. They are efforts to make financial statements look better than they really are. Okay, and they typically take place at the end of a quarter or a year. So management gets the employees involved in doing some things. They're legal, okay, they are legal, but they really don't represent what took place for most of the quarter, okay? So activities at a bank, like borrowing money to make your balance sheet look larger, okay, or buying or selling thinly traded securities in order to change your mark-to-market accounting, okay? Selling securities to get rid of losers. Portfolio managers do that all the time. Think about it this way. Let's say that the day before the end of the year, let's say that I had owned Murphy Oil for most of the year in your portfolio, and Murphy went from $40 a share to $3 a share. Okay? Well, I might not want you to see that showing up on your year-end statement. So the day before the end of the year, I sell the stock. You're going to have the loss regardless, but I just don't want to rub it in your face. So that's called window dressing. All right. Audited financial statements. All banks with assets greater than $500 million have to submit audited financial statements. Okay? It means you have to have an objective, independent, professional accounting firm do an audit. Okay? And it has to be done within 90 days after the end of each fiscal year. An audit is expensive. It's a cost of doing business. Okay? Banks must have audit committees that are comprised of independent directors, meaning they're directors, they're stockholders who do not work for the company. Okay? Sarbanes-Oxley, back in 2002, so there was massive fraud at these companies and others. Okay? In response, Congress passed Sarbanes-Oxley, which requires CEOs and CFOs to certify the accuracy of financials or face fines and jail time, which I think is a very good law. The CEOs and the CFOs make huge money, and they need to put their reputations and take on the line and take risks for the money that they get paid. All right, let's wrap up with this. Look at some of the key features regarding or relating to the financial statements of a bank. The first, heavy dependence on borrowed funds, i.e. deposits, to boost stockholder earnings. Okay? Most revenues stem from interest and dividends on loans and securities. The largest expense item is the cost of borrowed funds, deposits. The greatest proportion of assets is devoted to financial assets, loans and securities. Earnings are exposed to significant risks if these borrowings cannot be repaid, and firms must hold a significant proportion, banks must hold a significant proportion of high quality and readily marketable assets. Okay? Revenues and expenses are sensitive to changing interest rates, so management must be competent at protecting against losses by using interest rate hedging techniques, which we'll get into in a couple of chapters. All right, so see, these are some of the highlights from the chapter. All right, chapter 5 is done, and you've got homework to do relating to chapter 5, and I will move on to chapter 6 later today. Until then, take a look at chapter 5 homework, get to work on chapter 5 homework. No excuses. Now you have the information. See my finger? I'm pointing at you. You have the information. You can answer the homework problems on chapter 5. If you don't turn them in on time, I have Thug Nasty's personal contact information, and hopefully he'll make the same deal with me that he made with President Trump when he said he'll go whip somebody for free. So don't make me sick Thug Nasty on you. All right, get after it. Shalom, love, peace out.